Welcome back to task 1 part 2. So up until now you should be up to the stage where you have drawn your floor plan and you've inserted your symbols, which is of course your furniture. Alright, so what we're going to be looking at now is back into AutoCAD. Okay, so open up your drawing. This should appear. This is what it should look like in the correct layers. If you lost your drawing because we created that limitation, that invisible rectangle, I could actually go to here and go zoom all, and it brings it in, and I can even go further by saying zoom extends, and it brings the whole drawing up where I have drawn. Okay, so that being said, we are going to now explore doing this drawing in Paperspace and adding dimensions and text, all right, and then being able to set up the page setup manager, and then that will allow you to be able to print it out. So we're wanting to print this out on an A4 paper, and you can do so at home to see what you have achieved, which will be great. All right, so let's look at setting up our dimensions and our text. Okay, so we are going, I think I'm just going to keep everything in model space, and this will make sense when you come to your assignment, also your final assessment for marks, because it looks at both options. So it's good because in industry, some companies will ask you to do all your dimensioning and everything in model space, and then in paper space you can convert it. I really don't want to confuse you too much, but I don't have a file that sets up your plotting for this exercise. So we have done all our line weights here correctly, so that's good. That will then allow you to print it out to grayscale as in an A4, which will be good. So leave that there. If you had a file that will be supplied to you for your final assessment, then you would keep all this line weights as a default, because it defaults to that file and then prints out accordingly to that default file to the correct line weights there. So I hope that makes sense. Don't worry too much just yet. It will make sense as I take you through the videos. Okay. So we're going to look at dimensions. So to do dimensions, you can go to annotate, click here, and dimensions come up. So immediately ISO 25 comes up, and you can go new. So it will copy whatever that was highlighted in blue. So I'm going to just call this floor plan, okay, for now. And I'm going to say, or maybe just call it general even. Just say general. General, okay? Or you can call it after your name or whatever. So continue. We're going to go into the first tab, which is lines. We're going to change all of these by layer, all right? Baseline spacing, just keep that there. Change this all by layer, by layer, by layer, by layer. All right. And there's two main things that you need to know, and I've repeated this in the videos that I've uploaded in the recording section, or for practicing. You must look at the dimension line, which has got the between the extension line. So the extension line helps you measure or what you are actually dimensioning, and this is the length of that dimension. All right, so extend beyond dimension lines, you're looking at that little extension line there where that little arrow meets that. All right, so it's good to just keep that short and sweet. So let's just say that we can keep that at 2. Offset from origin, so where this extension line touches the object that you are measuring, it's good to have a gap, a good gap, and there must be a minimal of something. So anything from 5 to 10, so let's say 5. And the fixed length extension line, so this part here, let's keep that at 5 as well. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So if I just do click anywhere here, that all changes, which is good. Symbols and arrows, it's all to do with little arrows there. So let's go into that. These are currently arrows. I find that gets a bit dense, especially when you're measuring a wall that is only 90 mils, like a stud wall, and therefore the whole arrow takes up that space and it just looks like a big fat blob. So it's best to do an architectural tick. So architectural tick there. If I choose that from the first, the second one will automatically appear. Leader, that is for when you're doing your multi-leader to do notes. So if you're wanting to say this room needs to be painted blue or something, then you can make a note and that leads it out of the actual drawing. So let's keep it closed fold. The arrow size, let's keep it at 2.5. You can change that if you want as 3, but let's just say 2.5. That's a good size. All right. Center marks, let's just keep it as mark 2.5, and let's keep that above dimension line. Okay. And let's go into text. Now text, let's leave it as standard because if you go into text, it's Arial, it's naught because over here it's set here. So we want our text height. So text is always good to keep it at 2, and it will be sized up accordingly to the scale. So let's keep that at 2. And play around with these, but I think it would be best to have them above or centered. Actually, no, I like above. And horizontal, centered, left to right, and aligned with dimension line. That's good. So it's aligned with dimension line. Text placement vertical. So if it's vertical, it's above. Horizontal, it's centered. So if I do centered, it places it in the middle of that line, and I don't like that, so I'm going to just say above. Offset, I don't want that to be on the dimension line where my dimension text is. I need a bit of a gap, so 1 would be good. And let's say fit. Either text or arrows is good. Let's go over the dimension line, not beside. Use overall scale. Aha, here we go. So if you are doing it in paper space, I will show you this later for your final assessment. You'll choose annotative because that's in paper space. But because we're working in model space, we're going to say use overall scale of 50 because this drawing is going to be printed out in a scale of 1 to 50, so we want it to be 50. So it means that, let me go back to text. My text height is set at 2. If we times 2 in real life, that's 2 mils high. That's tiny. We need to make sure that it is going to be times 50 times bigger, so that when we scale this drawing to 1 to 50, it will be 2 times 50, which equals in real life to be 100 on your drawing. So it's will be seen. So it's 100 times. It's at a height of 100. Okay. So let me just explain that again. It's 2 mils, and we are scaling this drawing to 1 to 50. So that means it has taken real life. It is scaling it 50 times smaller. That's what I mean. So 2 times 50 is 100. So it becomes 100. Okay. Either text or arrows over the dimension line. Use it at 50. Draw dimension line between extension lines. There's the lines there. And primary units, it's decibel. We're not in anything else, so it's decibel. And we're wanting it to be finished at 0. We don't need any remainder behind the comma. and so we want to just period, not comma, and I am happy with all of that. So we don't have to worry about those two there. And so once you're happy with that, you go OK. And you say set current, because we can either choose that one or that one or that one. So we want it as general, set current, and we close. All right. So with dimensions, we need to make sure that we are on hatch layer, so that's incorrect. So we need to go to home. We need to make sure we're in the right layer so that it prints out so that's correct line weight, dimensions. And now we need to dimension up. All right. Now you'll see in your PDF given to you, there isn't any dimensions on the outside. I'm just showing you the difference with dimensions and how dimensions should be placed on a drawing. You always have your full length of your outer room or outer measurement of your building on the outskirts as the furthest dimension. Then you have your running dimensions, and then you have your detailed dimensions, which detail such as internal options, objects inside an environment. So I'll just show you that quickly. So if I go to here, okay, these are all your showing you your different dimensions. Okay, so linear. All right, and we are going to do a full dimension. So click on that. You've got to give the command, and we're going to go from there to the outer part of that wall. Pull it out. All right. So if I was on there, you can actually see that it will not allow me to go any closer to the actual object, the extension line, because I set it at 5. So I'm pulling that out, reasonably out to about there, and that's showing me 7,000. All right. Do it again. Give the command from that corner there to this corner here, and there it is there. All right. So if I zoom in, you can actually see it's written nicely 5,000 and 7,000. So that text, according to this drawing, will be done to the right scale so I can actually see it. Again, we need to do running dimensions. So I need to do that point there to that point to that point, etc. All right. So what I'm going to do is I am going to choose my running dimension. So I am going to go to annotate, and there is my running dimension there. Continuous, it says continuous. So what I'm going to do is choose dimension, and I'm going to go from there to there, and I am going to press click it. So click on your screen, click, do continuous, and do the next point there, and do the next point there. All right, so that's giving me the measurements now for, and I can carry on. So what I need to do is press enter and enter again to end that command, or escape. All right, so now you can see I've got running dimensions or continuous dimensions. So that's given me now the placement for the window. Okay, then I need to also show the dimensions of my furniture. So I go dimensions again, and I give that measurement there and there, pull that up, and I look at doing the other dimension, which is that to there. So I've got that. All right, carry on pressing. Got the length of the couch now there. Okay, and then I've got also that dimension there. All right, and I've got 700 from there to there. All right, so maybe that doesn't look, that looks a bit busy there, so what I can always do is move it to the other side. So I just click. Okay, and the same for your single couch here. We've got we doing here? Okay, so I can also do continuous. So there, dimension, continuous on this one. So we got there. Oh, it's picking up from my last one. So just erase that. Home, erase. Okay, press dimension, annotate, continuous, and dimension. So it's from there to there. And we're going to put it out here. Click, press continuous, there and there. Okay. So we have now we have our furniture and it's all measured up. So ultimately we also just need a running dimension here because we need the size of the door. So we can also do that, and we can click from there to there, pull it out, which will be there somewhere. Click on the screen, then press continuous, and automatically it goes to the next one. All right. And then just press enter and escape. And there we go. So now that you've got your dimensions in, which is awesome, we can now move on to text. So go to home again, get in the right layer. We're going to press text, and we are going to go to annotate, and we are going to go to text as a panel, and we're going to go to the drop down menu, which is the little diagonal little one there, and we're going to create our different text heights. So normally in AutoCAD, if you are doing the title floor plan, that would be known as a title, and that is set at a height of 5. All right. So when we are needing to scale that at 1 to 50, we need to put in the height in model space as 5 times 50. So 5 times 50, you'll need your calculator for this. So I've got mine here. At a height of 5, all right, times the scale is 50, which is for the specific plan. We have to put in a height here set at 250. All right. We can make the writing wider, but we don't want to do that, so we're just going to keep it 1. We could also give it an angle. We can say 12 degrees, and that gives it a bit of a slight angle. I don't think complicate things, so let's just say nothing there, and we are going to set new. Alright, so what I've done is I've created in that standard layer, so I'm just going to cancel that because that's incorrect. Let's just practice. So down here, we're first going to say new. We're going to call that title or titles. Okay, now that we are in titles, we can now change it to 250 because 5 times 50 is 250. All right, so it will be scaled correctly, and we're going to set current, yes, and we're going to go close. All right. Let's just do the others so long. We've also got, we need to write in our notes as well as our subtitles. So scale is written under subtitles. So let's do subtitles. So we're going to go new, subtitles, go OK. And we're going to set subtitles at 3. All right, so 3, so it's 3 times smaller than 5. All right, so 3 times 50 equals 150. So type in 150 there, and we're going to go set current. Okay. All right, so there we go. We can choose between. We're going to do another one, so we're going to say new. We're going to call it notes. So this is for any notes that we need to write. Okay, there's notes. and we're going to do that at notes is like same height as the dimensions, so that's 2. So what we're going to do, so it's 2 times 50 as that scale equals 100. Excellent. And set current and go yes and close. All right, so now that we've set up the text, we can go over here and they all appear here. All right, so I'm going to choose titles because I'm wanting to write, I'm wanting to do a text box down here for a title block, and that will be great. So now that I've set that up, I'm going to go to home again and I'm going to create that title block. So if you go into your notes, let's just pull that up. Oops, wrong one. This, we we scroll down and we're going to create that block, ABC interior design with the title. So that's like a little miniature title block that we're going to do there. Okay, so we're going to go back into the drawing and we're going to create a block. I'm going to line it up to the end of that one there, so it's about 7,000. Bring it down by, let's say, 1,000. Enter, go along and meet up with that one there, so 7,000, and close it. All right, now that we've got our title block, we can copy this line, enter, get a base point and move it along. So I'm just going to move one there. What it's trying to do is find the midpoint and there. So basically I'm just going to switch this off because then I can actually just click anywhere on here. So I've got 4 parts. Okay, and I'm not fussed like how wide you make them or anything. It's just so that I can get 4 equal parts. Okay, and what we're going to do now is we're going to choose text. All right, so to get into text, you can type in text, T-E-X-T, there, text style. Okay, or we can actually, the preferred way is to go annotate, and we're in our text panel, and we're going to choose titles, and this is where you get 2 options, multi-line text or single line. Choose multi-line text and I'll tell you how to do this. So multi-line text creates a multi-line text object. You can create several paragraphs of text as a single multi-line text. So let's choose multi-line text, and what it does is this little ABC appears, right? And we are going to click somewhere in here. Just click once, and down here it says height, justify, whatever. I'm going to say justify, and I'm going to say let's put it in the top left, top center, top right, middle left, middle center, middle right, bottom left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go middle center. So when I write ABC interior design, it will be positioned exactly in the center of this block that I do. Okay, and now I can write ABC. All right, and I'm happy with that size, and I am now got it there. And now what I want to do is write the interior design part. So I choose I go into notes because that's the smallest. It's only 2 times 50 because 50 is a scale, 1 to 50. So go notes, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to go multi-line text, and I create my block, which is going to be somewhere there, and I go justify, and I go middle center again and click, and I write interior design. All right, interior design, and it writes it exactly center of the B there. And then you can carry on by writing the title, scale, drawn by, and your name, project clients. You can make that up, date that you draw it, and drawing number 01. So for that we can choose, and you can see that how it's different in text. That was 5 times bigger, that's 2 times bigger, and if I chose a subtitle that would be 3 times bigger. Okay, so let me just try that subtitle. If I say scale, so if I write scale in here, I write multi-line text, and I go here to there, and I decided that I needed to write top right. Oh, I didn't say justify, so let's just escape that. Multi-line text, and let's put on our points again. So there, what is going on? So multi-line text there, and let's go down here. I'm not concentrating. So subtitles we're in, multi-line text, multi-line text. Let's do that. Click once, drag, and we go to justify. So that tells us where we can start writing. And I want it as top left because I want to write in the corner here. And I'm going all the way down, and I'm going to write there scale. All right. Let's go. Capital letter scale would be good, I suppose. SCALE. And I'm going to write that as 1 to 50. And you see how it's done at the top left. If I don't like that, I can actually move it. And move it, so of course that's on, so I can actually move it to where I want it if I feel that I want it there, and so be it. So once you've written all that up, then I will show you what next to do when it comes to putting it into paper space. All right, so this is the end of part 2 of task 1.